is complex too, because one way to respond to that is that really the way you damage a rangeland is usually with some kind of disturbance that didn't take place historically. Kind of the classic example is cultivation. Uh, so that definitely damages that. That's just not natural. And again, a lot of times there's just more examples in that South Carolina example where we substituted some other management practice that actually damages. Use of herbicides is another classic example of causing damage. I think, just something to throw out to see what the other two guys think, but it's, in rangelands that have a history of fire and grazing, you'd be hard pressed to ever damage them with fire and grazing before you have some other kind of loss, like a loss in livestock production or uh, maybe a key wildlife species you're managing.
Oh, I think I think damage is kind of like the word disturbance. So, I mean, it means something to humans, but it doesn't mean much to ecosystems. I mean, it matters. I'm not saying it doesn't matter, but I'm saying it's part of the system. And so I think that's what Dave was getting at. It's part of the system until it's not. If you turn it upside down with a plow, that's clearly not the same system anymore. But if you're talking about a system, and I think it's one really uh, uh, unfortunate sort of thing about our communication of ecology is that we call grazing and fire disturbances, but they're essential to the ecosystem. So um, that, and there's a lot of discussion about that kind of thing in the ecological literature that's kind of painful. It's a little bit, they'll talk about pulse versus press disturbances and those sorts of things. And so I'm not going to say that, I mean, I agree with Dave. It's hard to use grazing and fire to disturb it. I do think you can, and usually it comes from doing the same thing all the time, over and over and over and over again, having the same distribution of grazing, the same either full fire suppression or burning everything every year would be almost at the other extreme.